I also am really grateful for the way you talked about your global perspective. Because even as we talk about race, and that's a conversation by nation, by parts of nations, in history, the interracial conversation, the conversations about racial reckoning since George Floyd was murdered 3 years ago have been global conversations.
Oh, absolutely global conversations. And, I do think that my background gives me a particular point of view, not a unique point of view, but a particular point of
Mhm,
view in that,
mhm.
colonization is the only thing that I had known for most of my life. And the generations of my family before had only known about colonization. But we've also had that unique experience of living in England, my parents did, and me being born there. And then, of course, I had the opportunity to live in a colony. And I happen to live in a colony where all of the penal codes that have led to the way that policing is done in the United States were actually developed in Barbados, the origin of all
Ah,
of that. And so
mm,
what that helps
wow.
me to understand, because I've had the benefit of sort of doing a little bit of study. I'm no historian, by the way, but I do enough to help me understand, a lot of the ways that we see the world are really based on centuries old ideas that really don't no longer apply. And you alluded to this earlier as you were talking about, the current circumstances that we all find ourselves in the world today, and how history has a value if you take the lessons from it, but we ought to be willing to step away from history and not assume that the old way is the only way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's part of the risk of kind of settling into the old arguments. It feels to me like even with the conversations around weaponizing woke and DEI, it all becomes kind of rote, and the
Mm,
arguments are pre-written. It's a script, and we need to step out of the script and get real with each other and with
absolutely.
ourselves and about what can work in our organizations.